Welcome back to the IU427 garage, everybody. Well, we're getting the 25th anniversary car ready for paint. We've got a date with Jeff Miller, the painter, and we're going to walk you around the car and show you exactly what we've got going on here. And this may carry over into our trip down to Jeff's. Alright, welcome back everybody. Well, as you can see behind me, we have the body resting on the chassis for the 25th anniversary car. And before we did that, we went ahead and we installed our bulb seal across the top of the firewall, which is right about here all the way across. We installed some bulb seal on the edge right here of the back of the cockpit, and then across the top of the trunk and down the back. That's just to kind of position the body in the right spot so that when we get over to Jeff's, he'll know exactly where to cut, because he's going to end up cutting the underlip of this area right here that goes up next to the dash. And he used to cut this back here, but this is pretty tight, so I don't think he's going to have to do the back. So I'm going to work through getting the side pipes mounted back on the car temporarily, because we do have neighbors here and we try to keep the cars quiet as we load and unload these. And so once the side pipes are mounted, we'll be able to get this thing on the trailer with all the associated parts that we're going to need to take down to Jeff. Alright, turn off the fan for you guys. Alright, you can see I've got the side pipes temporarily mounted. This is not the time that you want to put your rear side pipe support mounts in. Wait until the body's finished. On this trip, we're gonna just try to get the ball flange in there tight enough that these don't sag, but we'll see. The trailer's pretty nice inside. I may throw some moving blankets down on the floor beneath the car just in case, but you can see here I did have to clearance a little bit right here and down to get the side pipes to go in and run somewhat parallel with the body. You want to make the big cuts like that before all the body work's done. And keep in mind, this car is in primer, but it still has to be body worked by Jeff Miller. So both side pipes are in, and that's just to keep the neighbors happy. And then in the front of the car, what you're going to want to do is make sure all of your lights fit. So we made sure that this is going to fit in here and everything lines up. You want to make sure that your connectors all fit through the holes. And the way we did this one, and the way I've done most of them, is that I do a 2-pin and a single pin. That way the connector is not so big that it doesn't want to fit through this hole, and you don't have to enlarge this hole. It makes it easier to get this through. In the back, it's going to be a different story. I'm just going to make that hole bigger. So I've got that side fit for both the turn signal and for the headlight. I'll show you the headlight on this side. Let's see, right this way. So it usually goes with the wires coming out of the headlight bucket on the top, and then you'll see that it just kind of goes in there. So we're going to be good there. Even with the buildup of paint that we're going to get from Jeff doing all the body work and then the priming and the painting, at worst we'll just have to clean off some of the paint on the inside of that opening to get the headlight bucket to go in. So that's all good. On the back, I am going to have to make the holes bigger. And that's because our weather pack connector will not fit through that hole. So you can see Factory 5 pre-drilled a hole in the center for the rectangular lights, but no way is our weather pack going to fit through there. So I'm going to take a unibit or a step drill, and I'm going to drill this out so that the 3-pin connector that we have, the weather pack connector, is going to fit through there. And as soon as I get that drilled on both sides, I'll bring you back. Van Halen, Mean Street. All right, the holes are enlarged and our lights fit. So here you go. I drilled them out with the step drill, And then I enlarged the holes top and bottom just to give us a little wiggle room. Those holes are going to close in when Jeff does all of his body work and primes and paints and everything else. And we'll probably have to open them up again just to get the lights straight up and down. But as you can see here, the connector goes in. Let's make sure I got this the right side up. And our light goes in the hole. So worked out pretty good on this side. We got the same thing on the other side. Now I did, after I drilled them, I cleaned them up with a round file just to make sure everything was nice and smooth. And over here, same thing. So those are going to be nice when everything's all said and done. So that's that. Tomorrow night I have to load up the car and the trailer. I have to load up my tools in the trailer as well. I have to bring the doors, the trunk deck lid, the hood, and the body mounting hardware down from upstairs. I'm going to need a seat, so I'm going to just probably take one of the seats, set it in the driver's side of the car, and I need a shifter. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to grab a shifter and put that in there. I'll probably just grab one of our miscellaneous shifters that are upstairs, because I think I have one that's already opened up for the Tremec transmission. The Tremec is a little bit different than the T5. The Factory 5 shifter is drilled for a T5, and so with a Tremec shifter you have to kind of fuss around and make the holes a little bit bigger. I didn't have that problem on the TKX because I think they changed the shifter on the TKX so it will accept a standard Mustang shifter. So got to get that in, and I think that's it. Then we'll be ready to go. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to clean up the shop here, and I'm probably going to go upstairs and find that shifter right now just to make sure I've got it. I don't want to use the shifter that came with the car and booger it all up before we give the car to the owner. So I think that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, everybody, it's the following day. I'm working on getting all of the parts for the car that we need to take to Miller's downstairs, and if not packed in the car, then attached to the car. So as a for instance, I've got the rear trunk deck lid just sitting in its opening, and then what I've done is I've taken some Gorilla Tape and I've just taped the bottom edge here. That'll keep it in place for our trip. Once I get the body and chassis loaded into the trailer, what I'll do is I'll set the hood in place, and I'll put a couple strips of tape on each side of the hood to keep it in place for the trip. I want to be able to disconnect the battery when I load it in the trailer. Since we've been keeping the battery disconnected in the car, I normally do that when it's at this stage, because you just never know, you know, when you're finishing up for the evening, whether you left the key on or whether some accessory that you wired in just happens to be on. And so I just choose to disconnect the battery and not have any power drain. So once I load it in the trailer, I'll disconnect the battery, I'll stick the hood in the opening, and then just put a little bit of tape on each side. It'll be fine for the drive. I've got the doors loaded into the passenger compartment of the cockpit. I have the mounting bolts for both front and rear of the car. We'll use those to align the body when we get down to Miller's. Right now it's just resting in place. And then I've got the hood scoop in the trunk. I'm not going to take it all apart to show you guys because just trust me, the hood scoop is in there. And that'll make the trip down there. I've also got the excess bulb seal in there. Now remember, the bulb seal is not just for the top of the frame and all the aluminum. It's also for the splash guards, front and rear on the car. So we've got plenty to do all that right now. But if in fact I were to booger some of this up, getting the body on and off over at Miller's, I do have some more upstairs, but I could always order more too. The last thing is I went ahead and I grabbed one of the seats, and I chose to keep all the plastic on it. We're going to be making a lot of dust down at Miller's tomorrow. We're going to have to build this area up so that it meets the top of the door when the door is closed. And so he's going to be cutting and grinding and doing all his thing and just making a disaster, because I think his middle name is Pigpen from Charlie Brown. He makes a mess when he gets the cars. So just kidding, Miller, love you. So we've got this just about ready to go down to Miller's. I've got a couple last minute things I'm going to do, but I think what I'm going to concentrate on right now is getting the trailer hooked up to the truck, get the trailer moved into position, and get the car turned around, and then work on loading this thing up. So you guys have seen me load the car before. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to get it loaded up and strapped down, and then the next time you see the car will probably be tomorrow when we unload it down at Miller's. So we'll probably see you guys tomorrow. Well, good morning, everybody. It's early. We're getting ready to take off to Miller's, and as you can see, there is one empty bay here in the shop. So I'm going to walk around the car when we get it down to Miller's. The two other painters that paint these cars, there's actually a number of guys that paint these cars, but these two chuckleheads had something to say on Facebook either last night or this morning. I haven't had time to look at it, but they have some concerns about the Mk4 body that we're giving to Jeff. So I'll get back to you just a little while when we get down to Jeff's. It's 8 o'clock in the freaking morning. Are all these freaking people going to Jeff Miller's? Buddies on Facebook this morning.
Who's that?
Ken and Jeff.
Oh yeah. What's up with the body?
Speculating. Oh my God!
It's a white
body. Is that beer Flaunderlust?
Is it a white body?
How you doing?
All right. It's as good as to be expected.
Julie even said when we were coming down here.
You gotta talk out of that.
She goes. It's gonna be painful watching the two of you.
It will be.
He's walking like you know.
Oh, the other night I was so sore. I was doing the Miller Shuffle.
It's like the dude from what was it, Laughing? Artie Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
All right. Staying alive. Staying alive.
It's always a joy driving out here with Frank.
Yeah.
It's always fun. Nah, he gets cranky. Cars don't respect him. They're always in his blind spot.
You pull in a 20-some-odd foot trailer.
Everybody has to be in front of you.
Or they won't let you in.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting on the freeway. They're not going to give way. Or you're trying to get on the freeway and they won't let you.
Yep.
So
the guy behind you on the on-ramp jumps out before the line breaks and get up alongside you.
Yeah, you know.
People have definitely gotten more evil over the last years.
Get a good look at the back of that for those two chucklehead paint and body guys back east, so they can see that was just dirt on the body. We're like, is that clear primer? Clear primer? Huh? Wheels are off, side pipes are off. We've got it stripped down pretty much to the bare bones. We're going to be removing the body, turning it upside down. We're going to trim the bottom edge of this front lip for the dash. Then the body will go back on. We'll put it in position, and then we'll fit the doors, and then do whatever we need up in this area to get this to flow right into the top of the doors. Alright, so Jeff's already cut out where the windshield's going to go, and then now he's working on the driver's side roll bar. So he marked carefully around where the tube for the roll bar goes down, each one of the locations, and he's just taking the die grinder and like a carbide burr, and he's going around and getting those open. He's just opened up a little bit. And then you can see over here where he's already opened up the area around the windshield post on this side and on the other side. So now the windshield should drop in there with no problem. You still got to work on getting this side marked so we can get these holes opened up just a little bit too. I'll bring you guys back when he's all done with that. Alright, so he's got these all opened up where he wants them. He's got a little mark here where he's going to put some material back in on the front because there's just going to be too much of a gap. And on the other side, he's got that all scored away too. So these are all opened up and ready to go. Alright, so Jeff has the door kind of fit and most things adjusted. And then right here, you can see these two edges don't line up. So what Jeff's going to do is he's going to slather on some mud here. He's going to even it all out, and then he's going to take a razor blade and he's going to cut right down this line, and then he's going to work the body and the door from there. Alright, so Jeff has mixed up some high strength repair filler, and you can see how he built up this corner, not just in height, but he actually extended it farther in so it matches up with this part of the body. And he's got this all smoothed out right here, so that's looking really good. And he did the same thing over on the other side of the car, which was a little bit worse, but it generally is. So he built this one up just a little bit more, and same thing, just to round this into the body. So that's it. All right, what we hope is the last coat of mud. So Jeff's got this all built up, and then he's going to work on just giving it a quick sanding, smooth it out. Over on the other side, same type of thing, just a little bit more mud. So he had to add mud here and on top of the door to make everything even, and it's looking good. All right, the body's off the car, along with a few other here at Jeff's place. You can see there's Mk4 and coupe bodies everywhere, including some coupes and roadsters inside. But that's it. We're ready to load up and head out. Thank you, Jeff, as always. Appreciate it. And catch up with you guys when we get back to the shop. All right, everybody. We were at Jeff's on Saturday, and today is Monday. And the reason that matters is because I didn't work on this car yesterday. I did mess around a little bit on Saturday when we got it back here. We found that the computer, the ECU, was actually making contact with the bottom of the body where it rested. And so I needed to move the computer forward. And this is really nobody's fault. There is not a specific measurement that is laid out in the Coyote control pack installation from Factory 5. It just basically tells you to position the bracket where it fits. And I think our bracket may have been over bent on the top, and so therefore it only fit in this one spot that it got mounted. And that got mounted when the owner and his son-in-law were down here, and honestly I didn't check. So when I got back on Saturday, I went ahead and I moved it, and looks like now we'll be good. Other than a couple of pop rivets that are in the top of the frame, which will be covered up with some foam anyway, you really can't tell that it's been moved. Everything's still going to work just like it was. So here's what we did. Basically, it was a good 4 or 5 inches back. You can see where the back two rivets were right here and here. And we've just moved it forward. So what was the front rivet before now is the back. And we've moved it just a little bit farther forward than it needed to be. But I wanted enough room to get all of these connectors in without interfering with the tube right there. So I mean, we could have probably moved it up just 2.5, 3 inches, but moving it up the way we did, all the connectors go in really nice now. It looks like we've got plenty of room back here, and so that's all said and done. And now I've just got to work on getting all the wires put back where they need to go. So everything went pretty much according to plan at Miller's. We got the doors gapped, we got the doors fit. Miller will work on getting everything sanded down, prepped, primed, and then ready to shoot paint. Just had a discussion with the owner of the car just a few minutes ago, and he's still contemplating colors for the car. It's not uncommon. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, and I think I'm going to wrap up this video here. Alright, I'm going to give the Texas car a little love while I'm over on this end of the shop. If you are enjoying the content here, please do the like, the share, the subscribe, comment if you like. We'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day.